to work.
A USB headset.
This guy getting handouts left and right.
I know.
Well, trying to help out. Jeez.
It's all for the podcast.
I'm tired of hearing about helicopters.
Yeah, it's true. Anyway, feels like it's been a while, but it hasn't, has it? We did a show last week, right?
No, we've been consistent. It's been another week.
Well.
Black Friday has come and gone.
Yep. Didn't buy a thing.
Nothing. No.
I did.
Nothing that I really wanted. Chris did, though. Sure, he has plenty to say.
No, not plenty.
Okay.
So was your quest successful? Did you manage to get what you wanted?
Yeah, man. So
All right.
I sold off my V1 PSVR helmet for $250, and then I bought a V2 with Moss and Astrobot for $250.
Yeah.
So it worked out.
And you're all squared away. Like this new box works well with the 4K pass-through and everything like that.
With the HDR, yeah.
That's good.
HDR pass-through works. There's a couple of things. I don't know if you want to talk about
new
it.
features you mentioned.
Yeah, there's a few little things that I don't know. It's kind of nice. Like it's not a game changer. I wouldn't buy a new set just because of it. But the cable is much thinner, and there's only like one thing that goes from the PlayStation or from the breakout box to the headset. And so it's a lot easier to move around, a lot more mobility than with the other thing. You know, in the version 1, there's that microphone thing on the side.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It's just not there at all. It's just the cable, which is nice. If you want to use a headset or earbuds, then it plugs into the back of the thing.
Oh yeah.
But then there's also, it came with like little earbuds that plug in and fit up with the headset, and then there's little there's little circular pods base that you like stick the earbuds in for storage. And so when you just pull it open and you put it on, you pull the earbuds out from above your ears, put them in your ears, and you're ready to go.
What if I want to use the PlayStation Gold headset that I use now? Is there a way to plug it in?
Then do it, man. Yeah, just plug it in.
Oh, it does plug in.
I assume so. I haven't done it, but I'm sure it does.
How does it actually plug in if there's no actual...
in the back.
Is there still a wire?
I'm going to go get it and look at it, but what? No, but you can get like an audio...
Oh, you mean just get...
for nothing.
Right, sure, fine. Right.
Does it have that audio out? I've never looked.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, I use it for firewall because I want to talk to people, so I need a mic, and then
I think there's a mic built right into the thing anyways, like into the headset. I don't know. I haven't played around with it enough, but for what I use it for, great.
Yeah, man.
Cool.
So I'm happy with that, yeah.
Anything else?
I bought a helicopter.
What? Like one of the drone
you
stuff?
were trolling me for a second.
I am trolling you, bitch. Move your cell phone away from your computer.
You didn't say anything about it.
Well, fuck. If your cell phone is near the computer, it does it.
Keenan, do you hear this?
So move your cell phone.
What do you mean?
Maybe I guess you can't hear it.
Okay, this is boring. I don't want to talk about it. I bought Horizon Zero Dawn plus the Frozen Wilds.
All right.
I bought it for $20, which I thought was a really good deal. And then like the following, what was it, like a day or two after, Amazon was selling codes for $9.99 US. So I was like, fuck. But whatever.
Whatever.
Yeah. And actually,
so you saved yourself a lunch if you did that.
Yeah. And so that's why I'm whatever. Not a big deal.
Not worth the stress.
But I've been playing the hell out of it, and I got to tell you, if it was on our list last year, I know that was one of the honorable mentions or games we didn't play, but it's really good. I like it a lot.
Cool.
Well, we also were talking about, should we allow ourselves to just have any game that we played this year?
No.
All right, fine.
I would say yes, but
you're fucking gross. And also move your cell phone away. I'm gonna put my fist through this monitor if you don't.
So, okay, let's test this out.
No, I don't want to. That's not what we test. This is
I
not
don't
the
wanna
time
Because
for
I
this.
don't think it's the cell
tested.
phone.
This
I
is
do
not-
not think it's the
I'm
cell
gonna
phone.
kick this guy out of chat, then Ken and I can talk.
Uh,
Yeah, no, it's good. I find that the story is really like the story is interesting. It's a sci-fi story, and it's good. What's there is good, but the writing is video game writing, right? So it's very
Sure.
difficult to get into it,
Sure.
into the story. But the game's good. It's a little repetitive. I think it's getting a little long in the tooth. I haven't beat it yet, but I'm at the end, and I'm like digging through the expansion stuff before I finish it.
You're saying it could have been a bit tighter. It's just
Yeah, not even that. Like it's good. I really like it. I was like really into it, but I find that a lot of the fights are not varied enough.
right.
I think I'm using a lot of and that could be my fault, but I find that I'm just using the same strategy against the same monsters. So Horizon Zero Dawn is it's a bunch of like robots that are somewhat like dinosaurs or animals, I guess. And the gimmick is that each of these robot types has different ways of attacking you. They have different parts you can break off and different things that you can, different strategies you can use. And I'm using those, and it just seems that a lot of the enemies I use the same strategy for, and it seems to work on almost everybody. So I would like a little more variation, but it could just be that, I'm not finding what the interesting things to do are. And just the base strategy is working okay on everything,
Sure.
There's these birds that fly around, and if you hit them with fire, there's different like element arrows in that.
Right.
And with the birds, if you hit them with a fire arrow a couple times, then they like burst into flames and fall out of the sky, and then you can go over and melee them. And I clean them up super quick. Like I've figured out how to kill those. And so I think that for some of them, it's just a matter of maybe I don't have their weakness down, but general attacks work anyways,
Right.
But it's fun. I'm digging it. And I mean, it's very much up my alley in terms of here's a map, here's a bunch of shit on the map, run around and collect that stuff.
Right. But there's a time and place for that, and sometimes you just don't want something super complicated. You just want something that's going to be easy to kind of like check off, and it's a nice like 10 to 20 hour game that doesn't overstay its welcome.
This is not a 10 to 20 hour game.
Oh, okay. It's a lot longer than that.
Yeah, I think it's significantly longer. Like it's
Yeah.
yeah, and so that's what I mean. Like it's good. I just
Yeah.
feel like I haven't seen anything really new in a while,
Sure.
which is fine. That's not really a complaint. It's just that's my experience with it. Right? It's a 4 out of 5. It's very solid. Characters look awesome. It's funny. Jane was downstairs yesterday, and she was like, "That armor looks really cool." I was like, "Yeah, I like it a lot." And then I saw,
And she's covered.
I saw an NPC, and she's like, "That armor is cool too." And so she noticed, wow, the armor in this game is really well designed, and it is like it looks amazing.
Cool.
HDR is gorgeous. Uses the lighting very well. But at its core, it's a third person action game, right? Like it doesn't really do anything that new. It's just good. It's a tight package, not tight. It's just it's well done. Yeah.
I don't know. Like I'm looking for HDR content all the time now.
Well, hey, there you go.
That's my big Black Friday sale purchase came in, and it's that LG C8, and it's gorgeous, man. Like all the HDR content that we have is just pops, and it's just amazing to look at. It's I don't like this. When you got your TV, Chris, and went to HDR and 4K, did your wife notice the difference?
No.
Really?
No.
Like Irene's like telling me like for her it's like it's 3D. Like she can't really describe why it looks different, but to her it does look different. So I don't know if that's the content or if it's just the TV itself or whatever, but it's for her she notices it as well.
Is it because you have motion smoothing on?
No, I turned that all that shit off, man. But like things like Planet Earth 4K like looks super amazing in 3D. Sorry, with the 4K resolution along with all the HDR turned on. It just makes it feel like you're in that rainforest with those colors. They look real to you. So
I wonder if my TV is not big enough to take advantage of 4K properly. Like I have a 43 inch, I think. And I don't see a massive difference between 4K and like 1080p. I don't know whether it's my untrained eye or what, but I don't see a huge difference. Like HDR, I see it, but I don't see it with 4K. I was a little disappointed in that regard.
Yeah.
But
I
what
think
do I know?
I think like I think most people in general say they notice the HDR more than
Yeah.
the 4K anyways.
Mhm.
Boy.
I don't know. At the same time, I feel like I'm kind of, and it sounds so awful, but I'm almost kind of used to it now. Where
Sure.
like, yep, looks good, fine, play. Like I don't,
Sure.
it doesn't, nothing really wows me. It's just, yeah, it's a movie. Yeah, it's a game.
Sure. But I mean, like for me, you notice it because when you're looking at Netflix or other things, like you'll notice when it's 4K HDR or if it's just HDR or if it's just HD. Like you'll notice all those differences now. Like it really changes in my eyes, like how clear things are, how much that 3D effect is there of separation. It just like there's a for my eyes to me it's noticeable between them. So
And I guess I noticed a difference. I guess that's not totally true because maybe just in video games, because like you say on Netflix, I noticed the difference between UHD and HD for sure.
okay.
So maybe it's just with video games.
So Tim, you're not getting my old TV. So what TV are you getting now?
No, I'm not. Not yet. Oh wait.
What? What happened?
Not on the budget these days. Just not. Well, we were thinking about it, but no, not. I don't really care.
You
That's the
rejected
thing.
me on my TV, and then you're telling me that you're going to get one, and now
No,
the
I
whole
didn't say I
thing's
was going to get
scuttlebutt.
one. I said we eventually will get a new one, but like when the time is right. Right now, it's not. I don't know. Like I'm happy with my TV. Like same with kind of what Chris is saying. I mean, maybe it just really doesn't matter that much to me. This whole 4K thing. I don't know. It's not. Maybe if I see it enough, I'll be like, oh no, I need to have this. But right now, it's like, I don't really miss it because I don't have it. You know what I mean? So eventually, but it's not a priority right now. So gotta save some money these days. Same with the video card. I was thinking about that, but yeah, they are dropping a little bit. But yeah, it was dropping a little bit, but it's still not enough.
When did you buy your TV?
That was hard to say. I think it's got to be like 10 years old. I don't know.
If you spent like $400, you'd see a massive difference.
Yeah, I'm sure it would.
Yeah, you like if you got one of the Vizios that are recommended, it's a pretty good value right now.
Yeah. Oh no, definitely. I'm sure it'll be a big upgrade, but just sort of, yeah, it's not a huge priority. It's sort of just thing works. I'm good. My monitor is what I use the most anyway, which is what I put a bit of money into. So that was a bigger deal for me to finally upgrade my PC monitor.
Did you get the 21x9s?
That was, yeah, it's like a BenQ monitor. I don't know. Yeah, it's pretty big.
So you got 21x9, the super widescreen one.
Not a super wide. It's just big, but it's not the extra. It's not the extra wide one. I don't know. I just got the monitor based on what I have at work, so it's the exact same like monitor, so that everything looks the same, pretty much. So when I'm working from home, everything will be arranged the same way, basically. So I wouldn't want to get a different monitor because I do enough work from home that it would make it a pain in the ass probably to do virtual desktop. So, yep. So maybe next year. I don't know. We'll see. This TV is sort of like, it would be nice to have a bigger TV, but for now, I need new glasses or something. So when I'm sitting on the couch, I can't always read like subtitles properly. So
you're getting old.
Yeah, that's the big issue. Is just I'm old.
You need to get your eyes checked, man.
No, I did. It's not that bad. The problem is my left eye is worse than my right, so I noticed that more than anything else.
You know, you get glasses with different prescriptions.
No, I know. Thanks. Ian. I didn't know. Explain to me about vision.
Well, I don't know. You're the one complaining about it.
No, I just I don't want to wear glasses. You know what I mean?
I don't know what you mean. I'm wearing glasses right now.
I know you don't
Is
care.
it vanity?
Yeah.
Probably a little bit. I just haven't worn them for such a long time. Like I used to wear glasses a long time ago. My eyes were pretty bad. Then I got laser surgery, so I got used to that. And then, right, it's hard to go back. Incredibly hard to go back.
Is that because you spent the money on the surgery and you don't want to feel like it's going to waste now that you're a handsome?
Well, it's just that I'm used to not wearing something on my. I'm not handsome. I'm just used to not wearing something on my face all the time now. You know what I mean?
How concerned are you with the way other people think when they look at you? Let's get deep here for a second.
Deep? I'm not really concerned, dude.
You said part of it was vanity.
No, Keenan said vanity. I said more.
No, I asked vanity. You said yes.
Oh, I
partially.
didn't. I wasn't answering you. There's no vanity involved.
Somebody go
Okay.
back to the notes or go back to the.
I mean, I'm going to the gym, so it's nice to look a little more beefed up. That's certainly. But I've always been called the skinny person, so that was the problem.
Okay.
I don't like.
So why no
people calling me
glasses?
skinny.
I don't understand this still.
I'm just not. I don't like wearing something on my face. Simple. Sick of wearing something on my face. Did that for so many years, and I don't want to have to do that anymore. So, but I do need to get glasses for driving. So that's the one thing that
pretty
I have
bad,
to do.
man. If you need
They're not
glasses
that
for
bad.
driving,
It really isn't that bad. Like the actual, it's just the bare. It's like instead of 20/20, I think I have 20/30 on one eye, and like 20/25 on the other, or something. It's like minimal. The problem is that it's annoying because one is slightly different than the other. That's what's bothering me more than anything. So, but yeah, I do need to get just to improve. It would be good to get something for driving. So that's my priority, is to get something for that. Then maybe once I get glasses for driving, I'll just use them for TV too, and then I won't ever have to go without a new TV for even longer. There you go.
No, then you'll need a new TV because
I also don't want to have to mount the TV.
you're
That was
gonna
the other
notice
thing.
how fuzzy everything is.
I don't want to have to mount the TV either. So
don't mount it. I didn't mount mine.
No,
I
I have
don't
to
know
see.
mine.
To take some measurements here and see what I can actually.
Yeah, Kenan's yours not mounted, is it?
No,
I know.
I got a
Well, that's what
riser
people
on
do
mine,
now.
and then no, I put a riser underneath, so it's off the bottom, and then I can fit a DVD, the Blu-ray player underneath and stuff, and then there's plenty of room up there.
I thought that's what everyone did. Mount the things.
If you want to mount it, you can go ahead and mount it. It only costs you
can't.
like around like $100.
I can't because we're renting, so I can't do that.
I've never mounted my TVs.
Me neither. That means
Well-
that you got to store it to stand somewhere else.
So real talk, how much do you feel you have to keep up with the Joneses?
Not too much, apparently, right? Like this is what I'm saying. Like I don't care about having a 10-year-old plasma that much. You know what I mean?
I care.
I know you do.
No, I care that you don't have one.
Oh,
Like I'm
much do you-
I'm struggling being friends with you still.
oh yeah. Well, we'll see how far we can stretch this thing. This friendship.
I won't let it come between us.
No.
I'll be the one that comes between you.
That's okay. This is sounding a little bit related to some other topic.
We're having trouble finding our flow tonight.
Yeah. I think we broke this bad boy.
I think the biggest problem is I don't want to talk about games because I got nothing to talk about.
All right. I can talk about something I played quite a bit.
All right.
It's been really eating up a lot of my time. You're gonna all roll your eyes because it's a roguelike, and it's actually one that I probably briefly mentioned like last year.
Hey man, whatever
Destiny
you like.
2 Forsaken King.
Whatever you like.
I wish it was no. That would be awful. Yeah, no, it's called Caves of Cud. So the reason I started playing it again was because I listened to the Roguelike Radio podcast, and they did an episode on that game and
Caves of Chud.
of QUD. They did an episode on that game, and they interviewed the devs, and then it sort of reignited my interest. So it's sort of apparently based on.
This looks very Dwarf Fortress.
Yeah. I'm so glad you mentioned that, because the tile set is amazing. It's quite a good tile set, and they specifically do mention being inspired by Dwarf Fortress's tile set. So certainly one of the good aspects.
The game looks like shit. You're so
the tile
weird.
set. We don't all need 4K graphics to
No, I know. It just
play video games, Chris.
I never understand.
Imagination plays a big role.
Okay.
Speaking of which, go ahead.
I never understand so this is like ASCII art, like characters for whatever. I don't.
No, it's
for
not
me
ASCII.
personally, it's cool.
It's got a tile set. You're looking at the wrong. There is an ASCII mode, but there's also a really nice, beautiful tile set for it. You might be looking at the wrong thing. I cannot play those games in ASCII. Don't get me wrong. If it was only in ASCII, I would not play it.
It doesn't
not
look
actual characters, but like, yeah, it's a tile set.
This
but
doesn't
it still
look
looks
that
like
different.
ASCII.
It still looks
It's
pretty,
blocks, man.
pretty rough.
It's a tile set. Tile set. As tile sets go, it's quite good.
It looks like an EVGA tile set to me.
Yeah. but it's a well designed tile. Like, you got to see all the different tile sets to be able to judge. Like, some tile sets are just garbage. Some tile sets are good, and you can see things at a glance, and that's definitely one of them, in my opinion, anyway. And then most of the people on the Roguelike show, they also liked it a lot. But anyway, what I was saying is this game's based on Dungeons and Dragons. There was something called Gamma World that was pretty popular in the 90s. That was kind of like D&D, but it was sort of like post-apocalyptic, like not like Fallout though. It's more like crazier, weirder stuff than Fallout, like dimensional rifts and weird stuff, like sentient anything, races of sentient plants or whatever you can imagine, like weird stuff like that. And so it's based on that. And even though it looks like a basic roguelike, there's like a ton of stuff going on under the hood. Like, you can't just use an old computer to run this game. Like, you need a decent processor too. There's a lot of stuff being simulated in the background.
I call bullshit.
And it's really, really cool. Each time I've played has been pretty wildly different. I had a lot of fun with it so far. I mean, it's pretty punishing at the beginning. Like, you do have to learn. It's designed that way too. There's a lot of threats that can kill you pretty quickly at the beginning of the game if you don't know kind of how they behave, what some of the monsters do. So certainly there's a bit of a steep learning curve at the beginning, but like about 15 deaths in, I pretty much figured out how to survive the early game. And yeah, I know there's a lot of different ways you can build your character. There's a lot of stuff that happens during the game that changes how you play the game and your approach. Like, it's pretty rich, pretty deep. I'm enjoying it quite a bit. Like, I made a mutant and I grew like multiple arms. So I had like 4 different weapons of different hands. And then I befriended a sentient folding chair or something that followed me around and killed stuff for me. It's bizarre. Like,
You're really selling the game.
I'm selling it to some people, I can tell you that. Give it a shot. I mean, there's a lot of thought that's gone into the development of this game. So even if you're turned off by just looking at the game initially, this is a game that the tile set, even this kind of game, like it'll grow on you. It's not something that I wouldn't want people to discount this type of game, because look, I mean, the devs are not necessarily, okay, there's roguelikes that look bad because the devs aren't artists. So they just know how to program a game. They know what they want to make, but they don't have time to do art, or they don't care to do the art. So they just get by. And a lot of people who like roguelikes don't care because they accept that that's part of the convention. But I would say for this one, like, this is definitely the work of an artist who's good at tile sets. It's not just the devs who did it. They hired someone to do it. So it's intentionally looks this way, and it's purposeful. Because I've certainly played ones that are not purposeful, and you can tell that it's just not, like, you're supposed to ignore how bad the game looks. But no, it's certainly on purpose, and Yeah, it's one of those games that you can put a lot of time into. So I already put like 60 hours into it.
I get you, but I don't think you
Last
should
time
be
and this time.
selling people on the tile set for this game. Is all I'm saying. Really,
Okay.
like if you want to like talk me into it, talk about like why do they require like large CPU power? Is that because they're simulating so much in every
stuff.
single
Yeah,
turns?
yeah,
Like
tons of
what
stuff.
exactly is going on in there?
Yeah,
Like
yeah. Well, you can do all sorts of ridiculous stuff. Like I don't even know how to like. There's like a cybernetic system. There's like a whole. There's like 40 factions. In
okay, so why didn't you lead off with that first? Like there's other systems.
like
in there.
I had a character who has permanent night vision, so I could like instead of carrying a torch, now I can just walk around and sneak attack stuff with night vision. What else did I have? I don't know. I could. There's just so many different things.
So are there like layers like in Shadowrun where you have like certain layers of systems in there that are deep, or is it just
Yeah, there's
still
like a
at
whole
its
skill
heart
system
still-
too.
Is it
Like-
still at its heart like, for example, like Dwarf Fortress, there's a management for your
Yeah, I know,
actual
yeah.
like town and stuff. It's more like very Civ in a certain way where you're managing your town and everything. Like what exactly are you doing in a roguelike? Because like
So
this is not an action roguelike, right? It's
So
not the same thing.
yeah,
as,
no, I would say it's more like a Fallout game. Like there's an adventure, although the map is randomly generated each time. And it's a long game. Like to actually beat the game, I think is at least it's probably going to take you 10 hours if you're good at the game. And for a roguelike, that's long. Like a run in a roguelike, 10 hours is pretty long. There's a whole skill system based on like so there's artifacts in the game because it's like there's old ancient like technologies you can find and you won't know what that is. So it's in a way that sort of includes that whole unidentified item system that a lot of roguelikes use, but in a kind of more interesting way because the smarter you are, you can actually identify those things easier. But if you pick a character that doesn't have intelligence, and some of the stats really matter too. So like a point in strength versus a point in intelligence makes a big difference for how your character plays. So if you forego that point in intelligence, you might not be able to examine an artifact to see what it does. And it could be like a friggin' mace has a power cell in it that like electrifies enemies or something else. It could be something like that you find. Or it could be like a poison grenade that you find. It could be night vision goggles. It could be anything. So you'll find these things and you won't always know what they do until you try and use them. And if you don't know what they do, using them wrong might be a bad idea. It could be a single time use item. There's all sorts of weird stuff. Even across 60 hours, I keep seeing things in the game that are new that I've never seen, which is quite reassuring because sometimes with these games you feel like you've seen most of the game, especially in a roguelike, right? Like when you're replaying it so many times. But they've certainly layered the content where you're not seeing everything in the early levels. Like it's across. So as you get deeper into the game, more complexity opens up as well. Like I haven't even got into the faction system. You can befriend like sentient bears or something. Like there's weird stuff like that. Like there's items that you can wear that improve your how you are with other races, like so they want to attack you right away or
so basically, okay, let's back up. At its core, this game is Fallout in that it's an RPG with adventure elements in it. Like what exactly like kind of rogue is it? Like what are you doing
life.
from turn? It's one life. Is it turn-based?
Yes, turn-based. Yeah, it's a classic kind of roguelike. It's a turn-based roguelike.
Because I still don't understand how you play this game. You're just talking about
so it's top down. Okay, fine. I didn't know I had to hold that far back. So it's top down. It's turn based.
Come on, kid, you don't know fucking games of CUD already.
There's a lot. I don't know. I just assume people know more about this stuff. It's like Rogue or NetHack or stuff like that. Anyway.
Yeah, but when you
I
say
can say
Rogue,
with confidence, I know nothing about Caves of CUD before you started talking about it.
But do you know what Rogue is or NetHack?
I have never heard of Rogue, and I've heard of NetHack, but I don't know what it is.
All right, fine.
And when you describe those things, when you talk about rogue and roguelike, everybody just has all kinds of connotations of it because rogue has been so all-encompassing for all kinds of different mechanics.
Sure.
So that's why you need to go back and actually talk about what the heck this is.
Fine. So this is more of a pure roguelike, and a pure roguelike would be permadeath, randomization, randomized map,
Okay, we understand that
and
part
an
of the
identify
rogue.
system.
Okay, and we
even more
understand that part of
classic,
the rogue. But
turn-based,
yeah,
top-down.
turn-based.
That's pretty much nails it. Like those 5 things will probably give you most roguelikes.
All right.
Right. To attack something, you like attack into it, like you move into it for melee, and for ranged, you press like usually a F key and then you target, and fire. Right. And it's like 8 ways movement, like up, down, left, right, and all the diagonals. That's how you move around the map.
Okay, but it is turn-based, so you're not like. Okay, so rather than action, which is like your Binding of Isaacs and stuff.
No, it's not real time.
It's not real time.
No,
so
no.
that's a huge difference, Tim. Like that there makes this
Yes.
game like a lot more different than the average roguelike that everybody has in their head now.
Yeah, the newer roguelikes, sure.
Yeah, I don't know, because when you say roguelike, that's what I think of though. Is what,
really?
Yeah, no, I think about what you're explaining here. Like, like what's that game that you like? Shiren.
Yeah. Shiren's like a Japanese take on the classic ones that have all those mechanics essentially are in Shiren, for sure. Unidentified system, randomization, permadeath, all that stuff.
Yeah, but that's not the mechanic, right? It's like when you say, "Oh, this is strategy."
I don't know. What is the mechanic then?
Well, when you say like it's a strategy game, like is it a Civ like a 4X? Is it a strategy game like XCOM and a turn-based like battle RPG? No. I'm just trying to tell you, like saying it's a strategy game is not enough, right? That's why I'm trying to figure out
turn-based RPG.
Good.
Would
with
probably
adventure elements because you have dialogue options and stuff.
But battles aren't. But battles are in the same turns. Like they're not. You don't go to a battle screen, right?
Okay. So same overhead map. It's just that you have one movement, one attack.
Yeah, enemies are moving around when you move, just like in Shiren. Like they move, you move, they move, you move. And if your quickness is higher than theirs, you'll get multiple moves for each of their moves.
Okay. That sells me more on this game than the whole roguelike.
Sells you on it? Oh, okay. Well, okay.
Yeah, because you got to talk about the mechanics.
It hasn't sold me on it. I don't like. Admittedly, I could not care less about this game. and that's
I like it is because it's just really deep and everything's mysterious, and you know how big of a fan I am of mysterious stuff.
Yeah,
right?
man. And I mean that's totally cool. Not to knock it at all. It just this is not anywhere close.
That's why I said that when we were talking about it earlier in the week. You said, "Would I be interested in this game?" And I said, "No."
But that's the part that sucks, right? It's like I was really, really excited to hear what it was, and then when you said Caves of Cut, I was like, oh.
Well, have you ever played? Did you play even Shiren at all, Chris?
A little bit.
Oh, okay, but you really liked what's it called, right? You liked that variant of Shiren. That what the hell was that? That game you played, the dungeon. What the heck is it called? The game Keenan loves, Etrian Odyssey. There's an Etrian Odyssey.
It's not the same as Etrian Odyssey.
And that's not the game I love.
It's not even close to what it's like.
Etrian Odyssey roguelike you played. That's like Shiren. Right?
Oh, maybe I did.
You jackass.
Yeah, maybe I did.
I don't love.
Yeah, no, I did. I played it when I was in Taiwan.
Yeah, you played it a lot, right? I mean, does it have unidentified stuff in that game? No, right?
I fucking know. I have no idea.
That's a pretty big deal.
Disposable. Yeah. Like it's a game that I played and I forgot. Well, like you said, oh, you played. I'm like, I did.
You did play a classic roguelike. You played that Japanese
Yodanji.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that was one that I couldn't get into because it was too basic.
Yeah. Well,
I did try it.
I guess I'm just too basic.
I didn't give it a chance too much. I was a little bit turned off by like.
Well, I'm telling you right now, I'm not going to get Caves of Cut a chance. Or Caves of Cut.
I did not like the graphics in Yodanji very much at all.
I like them okay.
Yeah. But, I've been putting a lot of time and I'm going to put more time into it. There's a lot to learn in it. There's a lot of different things you can do with your character.
You still play League of Legends?
League?
Yeah.
No. No. That's been like a year since I stopped playing that. Why? Are you interested? You going to play that?
No.
One last cut question. Is there any carryover between deaths?
Not that I'm aware of. It's possible.
Okay.
And
Kim's
sometimes
pretending like he gives a shit.
sometimes these games have unlockables that you. So there are achievements in the game. I know that. On
Are there helicopters?
my cell phone didn't move, so unless my cell phone's a helicopter, I don't know how. Maybe it's just a problem on your end.
Oh, I hear it.
I promise you
I
it's
hear
not.
it.
I don't know how to control it because I haven't moved or done anything differently. I'm literally sitting still in the same spot the whole time.
Well, I can tell you it's not the computer because that what used to be mine. I can tell you that.
Yeah, man. I don't know.
It's all. It has to be one of the
all
connections.
happening?
Then. Yeah. No, not anymore. That's why. Like, let's just get you a USB headset or something.
Maybe
I'm
it's-
pretty
hopefully
sure
it'll
that'll
solve
fix
it. Yeah.
Because there's nothing analog.
As to what was your question again?
Is there any carryover?
Yeah. So
And how many helicopters are in there?
there's, as far as I'm aware, there's no carryover.
Are there
Okay.
helicopters?
That's better.
Yes, for now.
There's no carryover, but some of these games do have carryover, usually based on achievements. So it maybe has stuff. I'm not sure. I hope it does because I like that kind of stuff. Like
Okay, but
going
not
out
off
of
the
your
bat.
way to going out of your way to do some weird achievement that'll unlock something permanently in the game or a new character class. A lot of them do it for character classes. Or like right now, there's only 2, and I have a feeling there probably should be more based on what I'm seeing in the game, but maybe not. I'm not sure. Like I assume you're supposed to be able to be other races in the game. Like you should be able to play as a sentient bear. I know I mentioned sentient bears a few times, but I would imagine there's a way to do that. So yeah. Anyway, we'll see. But yeah, it's cool. So, but there's I can't remember the other game that did have a lot of unlockables that was like this. It'll come to me later. But
Is episode 95 of Link Cable Podcast like the deepest dive anyone has ever done on this game on the internet?
not even
No,
close.
I'm pretty sure not. Just because he said that this is the favorite of a podcast dedicated to roguelikes.
roguelikes.
Come on. How could this be
That's
more
how
deep than that?
Yeah, dude, there's a whole podcast on roguelikes. They have 130 episodes. They're an hour each. You should listen to them. It's good
Well,
stuff.
let's keep going. Let's do another hour and a half of Caves of Cud.
I can't do an hour.
Keep
hour
that shit running.
Exhausted my what I have to say about this for now.
So
I know you're not super interested in it, so that
No, but
help.
if you like it, you like it, man. I got no problems with that.
He's got a lot of problems with it, Tim.
No, I'm always happy when
Picked up,
somebody finds a game
I
they
picked up
like.
something else called Synthetic, but I haven't played it yet, which is like a twin stick roguelike, which is supposed to be really good these days.
You know what I want to do? I want to get you
What do you want to get me?
Astrobot so that you can play it and then
Yeah.
talk about a real fucking video game.
Yeah. Oh, I did
Talk about the
introduce,
best game of 2018.
If it's not in the top like 3, then you guys are fucked.
So you better get it in Tim's hands because like who else is going to fight for it? But you
Yeah.
and did Don get it?
Well, no, but you gotta fight for it because I'm telling you it's the greatest.
I'll
wanna
fight for
get
it based on reputation alone
Don
from
gonna be
Yeah,
other
but
sites
you know what
as
it
well.
sounds like? Yeah,
You're-
man, Don's on. Don and Jackie Senpai.
Oh, so good. What I was gonna say is I got to introduce a Tetris fiend that I know to Tetris Effect for the first time yesterday. He doesn't own any consoles. He used to play Tetris on his like MacBook or whatever thing, but he's good at it. Like he's really good. He's better than you, Chris.
I'm not very good. I don't know where this comes from.
You're good. But I threw him at it, and he played it 3 different levels, and then or 2 different like levels of the journey mode, and then I put him on the last level, and he did it first shot. So he's probably gonna buy it, and he's actually a longtime listener of the show. So
Who's that?
I-
Do we know him?
well, he's a friend of mine, he's a med school friend. So hello, Eric. Shout outs to Eric.
I'm sorry, Eric.
Buy a PSVR.
Did you enjoy the talk on Caves of Cud?
He
Eric?
might have. I don't know.
And Eric, thanks for being the friend to Tim that we can't be.
He wants to meet you too. It might get weird.
So he can stab me because he's your friend.
He's just mocking me too much.
Why do you want to stab you?
That's a little. But yeah, maybe if he gets it all, you can have a competition, Chris.
I don't know
play it.
where you guys are getting it.
You'll play it.
I'm Tetris genius.
He'll give you a run for your money. That's for sure.
Okay, listen, I'm
never
not
stop
that
playing
good
it.
at Tetris.
I
Just
know,
because
but
you're
you
the
wanted
top
someone
of
good.
all of our leaderboards
You
doesn't mean
wanted
that
someone
you're the
good to
best.
play
the
against,
best
and I
one
found
out of
someone.
all of us.
I found a Tetris savant you can play against.
Just because you're tops out of all of us on all our leaderboards, there's no reason why we would think you're really good at it.
You know what he said he would do? He said he wanted to go
Suck
on
your
my
dick.
account and just keep coming over and beating you by like one line every so often, just to drive you crazy.
That wouldn't drive me crazy though. That would mean that your account was compromised. And
I know. That's why I said no.
I don't
It sounds
trust
like a good
anything that you
idea,
did.
but don't worry, I won't be beating any of your scores.
I'm not worried.
But he will. He will. So I hope he gets it. So he can kind of wipe that smug look off your face that you have.
When have I ever had a smug fucking look on my face about Tetris? I'm not going to
Smug
talk to you
voice.
nonstop about how I'm not that good at it.
Smug
And then you're
sound.
fucking. I hate this show so much.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to Astrobot.
But yeah, Chris, you got to get Tim on it. You gotta build your campaign, right? Because if you want to push it to number 2, because I think all 3 of us have a certain idea of what we're gonna put as number 1. Right now.
I don't. I have no
Actually,
idea.
I don't.
Really?
I haven't thought about it yet.
I've thought about our group, and I think I know what's gonna be number 1.
But I'm not championing anything. Like I will talk about games I like and games I don't. And
I have to
that'll be
think
the
about
extent
it.
of
I don't even know. I don't.
I almost predicted right now.
Why?
You're,
What?
you're not going to think about it.
You're not gonna.
I'm not gonna say it right now, but
Yeah, actually hold that close to your
it'll
chest.
skew things. But
It'll be tough.
Yeah.
There's still some good stuff.
you got to build that campaign, Chris. Come on.
I'm not
Get people
looking.
playing it.
Fuck, you guys keep putting words in my mouth tonight. I'm not. It's all good. Whatever happens, happens. I'm
You
not-
said top 3.
Well, no, I hope that's where it goes because it's a very good game. I think if I'm the only person that plays it though, then it's tough to.
No, I will definitely play it. And I'm
But
excited for it.
I would love to see a VR game be in our tops. That's something that I would enjoy. Actually.
I think that's pretty likely between Tetris Effect.
Oh fuck, it's so good. Actually, Keenan, I don't think. Did you talk about your experience with Tetris Effect and how you've been enjoying it?
I talked about it a bit last week.
Did
Like I need to spend more time with it.
What? How did you
Yeah,
play it?
I was just playing it on TV, right? So
Oh, right.
Which do you know that I haven't touched it on VR since like the first weekend? I've been playing
Wow.
on TV the whole time.
I've
It's
heard that from a lot of
really
people.
I should try it.
It's
Yeah,
more
I should give it a
accurate,
go.
right, for you to play it on the TV and less
Yeah,
time.
yeah. Like I found it. What was hard for me was even just playing it last night when I was showing him, in between times that he was using it. I looked. It was hard to be able to see what was coming next, Tetris piece. So I would just be reacting a lot of the time because I would have to physically like look up a lot more than maybe I would if it was on the screen. So I think that would definitely improve my play. Depends what you're in for. It depends if you want to get that Tetris Effect or not. Then
And honestly, how could you not want Tetris
No.
Effect?
yeah, you want that.
Dude, it's so good. I haven't, I have Moss here from last week and I haven't touched it yet. I want to
No.
play it. I just,
Yeah, I'd be interested to hear what you think about it.
yeah.
Since you have
I've
no
played it.
time, since you're playing so much.
No, it's not even so much Tetris. I've been putting time into Horizon. Horizon's been a lot of fun.
That's good to hear.
One other thing that I played again was we finally did more of the raid in Destiny. That's literally like the expansion's coming out next week, and we're finally doing the raid because Jackie, one of our players, was away for like 3 weeks or something. So it's been fun though to do the campaign for sure, the raid. So I'm looking forward to doing the rest of it and still enjoying the game. So we'll see if there's been not a lot of word on what's in the new expansion. So I don't know. Like there's certainly
Don't
going to
get too
be.
excited because it's going to be bullshit.
I'm not too excited, but there is going to be a raid lair, and I tried the other raid lair, and that seemed like a lot of fun. So, yeah, we'll see. I even like playing PvP in this now, so that's almost enough. Like just chasing chasing stuff for PvP, as long as they don't completely unbalance it. Like people are already complaining about balance, although I don't play competitive mode, so I guess I don't see that. But we'll see if they do any changing to how things work. But
I talked to Andrew German a little bit this weekend, and I said, dude, I have no interest in going back to Destiny. He was like, yep, nothing left for that game.
Oh,
him too?
Yeah.
He's not playing it, right?
No, he quit. I don't even know if he played Destiny 2.
Oh,
I don't remember. He may have for a short time.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
It is a bit too bad because there's a lot there now, and it's a lot way
but
better.
it doesn't matter. Like, you fucking burns so hard.
Yeah, no, I know. I was just as mad as you.
Chris, is this for you? Like, is this a Diablo 3 level of burn? Like, you would never.
Well, both of them.
It
both
sounds
of them
like
mean
it, 'cause
both of them mean nothing to me.
I was so mad about D3 when it came out. I don't know if I was more mad than you, Chris, but I think I probably was.
I'm not mad. I just don't give a shit.
Right.
Like, I just don't care.
Yeah, but Tim, you came back and played the expansion, right? Like Chris was like so burnt out on the original content that he didn't
Which D3?
bother. Yeah.
Or
Yeah, D3.
D3, Chris actually played more than me in the end. I don't know if he played.
I didn't play the expansion.
You didn't do
Not the expansion, but I remember you went back to D3 after a few patches, and I remember you were into it for a while.
Was I?
Yeah, you were. The expansion didn't really it added a bunch of stuff, but it didn't fix the fundamental problems with Diablo that I had, which was like number bloat mainly. I wasn't really a fan of that.
Yeah, but you
That was
played
the
a
deal
lot of it.
breaker.
Like, I played all the expansion with you almost.
Yeah.
Like,
I did.
We spent a lot of long.
I got something out of it, but it certainly wasn't.
This guy, fucking Chris played it all. Oh, he played the most, except for when I played through the entire expansion.
Yeah, it's not that long.
hours co-op with Keenan.
Exactly. That's what I'm trying to point out.
No,
Like, Chris gave up on it because like it burned him hard. I don't get the feeling like even Diablo 4. Would you be willing to go back to trying that out? They'd have to make significant strides for you to go.
Not
back
at launch. Not at launch.
Not at launch, right?
It depends on what, because I was a fiend like looking into information on D3 before it launched, and I already kind of knew a lot of what was going to happen, like the systems that were in place. The major problem that I had with D3 at launch was the lack of interesting, unique items, and the fact that they barely ever drop. But the fact that even if they did drop, there was nothing unique about them. There was no unique affixes that they had that changed how you played at all. They were very
but I mean,
and then they changed it with one of the big patches, right? So that certainly added, like, that was the big deal breaker at the beginning. Then when they overhauled that, right, that brought me back into it. But then eventually it started to dawn on me about like the whole number bloat thing and the discrete difficulty levels. Where there's like hundreds of different difficulties that are basically just increasing numbers. So that was what really got me.
But I think if D4 came out, you're more likely to go and give it a shot.
Yeah, I would.
Just because of like your memories of it and giving it a chance. Like, you went back to Destiny even though you weren't happy with it, right? Yeah. So like the question is, like, for somebody who, and this sounds bad, like I don't mean it maybe in a bad way, but like if you love something so much, like Chris did with Diablo 2, with Destiny 1, and you get burned that badly, like it's hard to win a hardcore fan like that back again.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Well, and they didn't do themselves any favors. We're talking about Blizzard with the Diablo Immortal nonsense that just happened. Like, that tells me that, like, that definitely diminishes my interest in any potential Diablo 4 when they're doing stuff like that. And they think that's okay.
But Blizzard's doing this. Like, this is the thing I don't understand, is that like the Activision Blizzard thing, like nothing that they do is interesting to me at all.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's and I know that all companies are the primary goal is to make money. I get that. And I don't have a problem with that. I have a problem with being like nickel and dime and sold product to.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I think the ActiBliz is terrible for feeling like just a large corporation trying to get your money.
Well, yeah, and I mean, with that Diablo Immortal announcement, it was just solidified that. Like, it's a joke. Like, do you know about that? I mean, we haven't talked about it on the show. They hired one of the worst Chinese gotcha style, or not gotcha, but like rip-off cell phone game companies that even Chinese players who I guess are more used to dealing with shady practices, like they hate that company.
But what
They
are you
hired
surprised?
them to make a mobile Diablo game.
Yeah.
And they were the only reason they did it was because they're used to making Diablo type ripoffs. Like they already, so basically they just reskinned the previous game.
But why? That doesn't surprise me in the slightest. That's Blizzard Activision right now.
I didn't think they would do that. Like that's
Yeah, man.
pushing the limit.
No,
Well,
as soon as in Destiny 1 they introduced Eververse, that was the beginning of the end.
That didn't change anything for me.
Yeah,
I mean, that's
because you don't know shit. That's the thing. I remember talking to the same thing, talking to Andrew the day that it came out. I said, this is the beginning of the end. This is a dangerous slope. And we talked at length that night and said, like, this is a direction that I don't want this thing to go. This is not good. And look what happened.
And then the Forbes article came out that confirmed everything, basically, as far as that's concerned. Like,
I never had a problem.
I don't know. Like,
to be honest with it wasn't about the fact that there was like stuff you could buy in the game for cosmetics. Like whatever, but it was just a bad game at launch. There wasn't enough content.
No. But here, listen to this. Here's the difference. I spent a ton of money on Monster Hunter World on like frivolous bullshit because it was
a good
fun.
game. It's a fun game.
Because it's fun and it's sure, but I really like Destiny 1 as well.
Yeah.
Like I know everybody said it was broken, but I actually really, really loved it. I loved grinding. I loved the raids.
Yeah.
Like I loved everything about it,
Yeah.
but it felt different. There's a difference in tone or in feeling. Like with Monster Hunter, it's here's a bunch of shit that you don't need. You want to buy it. That's cool. I'm not going to push it in your face. It's just in the game. Where with Destiny, right from day one, it was, what can I do to get you to buy this shit?
I never really
because
felt
we're
that,
selling for this game
be honest,
for
but-
$50, and I need to get 70 out of you somehow at least. So
I haven't felt the need to spend a dime on.
But that's because you're a sucker.
The difference between now and then is that it's a good game now. PvP is more fun. There's more content. That's why I'm playing it, not because anything to do with like cosmetic stuff.
And that's fine. But I think my argument is that it would be a better game without that shit.
I disagree. I don't think it matters. I think you should. It's fine. If the same with Monster Hunter, would it be a better game without that stuff?
No.
Why?
It
Why is there a
makes no
difference?
difference? Because one is built. So Monster Hunter has extra stuff that they can get extra money from, right?
Yeah.
Destiny is built around trying to get you to buy that stuff.
I don't agree. I don't see the difference.
You're wrong.
I don't know how. I don't know how is it different? How is one built around it and the other not?
So
because it's in a store that you walk up to and you have to talk to every once in a while anyways. Like there's a huge Well, look, if you're going to get an Ingram and then you have to go and unlock it there, then you're going to be walking at the store.
they're
and
all the
bright
stuff.
Ingrams you get.
You're getting
you
pushed.
free cosmetics. So why wouldn't you do it?
Okay, that's
It'd be like
how
if
you
Monster
see it
Hunter.
But you're not
Yeah,
listening.
free
though.
cosmetics.
Tim, you're not listening and you're not looking at a different perspective. Okay,
I am
Because
listening.
I understand.
I'm just not
I understand.
agreeing.
I understand your perspective. Okay,
Right.
but there are other perspectives to it because
Sure,
you can.
I'm
Just
listening to
flip it
your
around.
perspective.
No, you're not. You're interrupting him every time he talks.
Go ahead.
But
I
you
won't
can
interrupt.
flip around the perspective in another way, and that it's throwing you into a place which is asking you for money. Okay, like it's saying, look, you can open this and look, this is what you got, but for a little bit of money, you can go ahead and get this other stuff, and that's in the game in that particular area, and you're going to there at least like let's say 2 or 3 times a day. Okay, if you're doing the dailies and everything, right?
Mhm.
Okay, so that's what we mean by in your face. That's what we mean by it's got the whiff of that in the air
Sure.
inside of the game experience. Okay, in Monster Hunter, you go to a different place, like you go to the store, you buy an add-on or whatever. That's where you're doing it. It's not pushing it on you every single day, right?
And sorry, it's important to say that there's not an in-game store either. It's through the PlayStation Store.
So that's a big separation of when I say church and state, but a difference. It's a separation between the actual in-game content and add-on content that they're asking in different ways. Now, to you, you don't see a difference of the actual like mechanics of it because it's there.
No,
it's just a matter of
I mean, maybe I should clarify. I
Okay.
recognize the difference, but it's a trade off. Like they're giving a trade off for it. There's a in-game presence of a store, but I get free cosmetics, and I haven't had to feel the need to buy one at all because I've got so many of them constantly that I'm like, I feel like I'm just getting freebies, so I'll deal. Like it doesn't bother me. I'm like, the way I view it as this is a place I get free cosmetics, and that's it. Like I'm happy about it because it's like, hey, I don't have to pay money for these things, and this is the place where I get it.
So you have no problem with a game constantly trying to sell you things?
I think that's a mischaracterization.
So when you go to Eververse and it shows you a list of things that you can get with whatever the special glimmer is called, I forget.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't have enough, then buy this shit, and then you will have enough.
And
it's time locked, and so you gotta do it now.
Almost every single thing I want, I've been able to get because I had enough glimmer.
Okay, you're right. Destiny is not made to get your money.
Or I don't. I mean, it is made to get your money.
But your argument is that it wasn't.
I never said it wasn't. I said it didn't bother me.
I feel like those are two different things.
They are. I said it didn't bother me.
But up until right now, I feel like you've been arguing those two different things.
You haven't been listening to me. Speaking of someone who hasn't been listening, I never said that at all. You're totally mischaracterizing. Why would I say that when it's so easy to disprove it? Why would I say something like that when it's so easy to go, yes, of course they're making money. There's a store in the game. I didn't disagree with that.
That's what
you were disagreeing about. That was precisely what
I'm disagreeing. There's a store in the game that you can buy things for. I never said that at all.
You're disagreeing that has an effect on people. Like
me.
I understand to you.
Maybe if you're 12 years old with your parents' credit card.
I'm not 12 years old either. Okay, but there are lots of people. Excuse me, but a lot of people are not like that. Okay, and a lot of people don't appreciate having that in your face.
It's the same reason I'm saying this is the reason why I'm not playing this game. Is because not that I feel compelled to buy things, but because it's bullshit. Because this is not a game I want to play when the main goal is to squeeze money out of me. Like I don't appreciate being treated this way, right? Like if you already pay this much money for a game, I don't need you to constantly remind me that you're trying to get even more out of me, right?
I just find it interesting that Monster Hunter doesn't bother you at all because there's that little bit of separation.
But it's a huge separation.
I mean, for me, it's not. It doesn't matter to me because I'm getting freebies. If I wasn't getting freebies and it was just sitting there taunting me, I don't know how they would even do that because then I wouldn't even go to the store. I would ignore it, right?
Okay.
The fact that you have to go back there regularly, it does show you can buy some of them, sure. But I don't need to, again, because I'm getting the freebies constantly. Like, constantly. I have almost every exotic emote just from playing the game. Every time you level up, you get an engram that you can redeem for potentially any emote in the game. There's not ones you can't get. Like, it'd be different if there was ones you could not get or skins you could not get without paying money, but that's not the case. You can get anything.
But listen to what I'm saying. That's totally cool that that's how you play it. But the game is trying to squeeze money out of you.
Sure.
And
that's Monster Hunter.
No, it's not.
They want people to buy those cosmetics, dude.
But Tim, you're being.
And if you're playing Monster Hunter, and then someone else you're playing with does the Shoryuken, okay, what do? Oh, you just assume you're going to get that drop in the game or something? No. You're probably going to realize that that must be a cosmetic.
But I feel like you're being difficult for the sake of, because one of those games. Dude, fucking listen. Like, it's okay to listen. I'm not trying to fight you.
I am listening to you, man. I'm listening to you. I'm just responding
over my sentences and over me talking.
You're not letting me get a word in. But go ahead.
No,
you tell me when I can talk.
Right now.
I'm listening.
No, you said I kept talking over you, so go ahead. What did you want to say?
Well, I already finished my thought on that.
Okay, so now I want to talk, and I want you to not interrupt me.
Okay.
Okay. One of those games has paid DLC, right? One of those games is constantly in your face about buying the paid DLC, and those two experiences are very different. And with one of them, I'm totally fine with spending money on it because it's there and I want to support it. And the other one, it feels like they're nickel and diming me every step of the way, and I don't appreciate that vibe, and that's the reason why I'm not into it. Right? I'm not arguing that Monster Hunter doesn't have DLC, and I'm not arguing that it's not trying to sell me things, but one of them is made to sell you things. Like one of them is made to maximize the amount of money you spend, and the other one isn't. Like Destiny feels like a cell phone game to me.
And I don't like the one thing I will say is I don't like the idea that your time and effort and everything that you're spending on that game isn't valuable to the game. Like you might say that yes, you can buy every single emote by breaking down items and stuff. I don't want to play this game like this, like for like 100 hours, like doing the same thing over and over and over again to increase my light level every 7 days or whatever. Like it's not my kind of game to be wasting my time like this. I have more important things to do, including playing other games, in my opinion. Like it's just not a value proposition to me. Like my time is money, literally. Like I could be spending over 20 to 30 hours playing Destiny, or I could be spending 20 to 30 hours working towards a certification that's going to make me more money. Like it's not that actually has a value to me, like how much my time is being spent there. And for them to say, okay, you're going to need to spend this much time to break down this, to try and make a pull on this randomizer, and if you don't get it, you break things down in order to make enough money in order to pull a particular.
I don't want to interrupt you, but there's no breaking things down to get a pull on a randomizer.
Okay, or whatever. So
just to clarify, you get those engrams by playing the game. Killing anything you do, killing anything in the game will get you experience.
But Tim, I think you're confused because I think you're trying to defend yourself on like a personal level, and nobody's coming at you. I think it's just,
definitely not.
I think it's just that to me, I don't like the feeling of it, and to Keenan, he doesn't feel that it's worth the time. But if it is worth the time for you, and it doesn't bother you, then that's totally cool.
It's fine if you're not. I just want to make sure everyone understands what the game is doing versus what it's not doing. Right. Like, there are certainly games out there where if it was a game where there was cosmetic stuff that you could not get through normal gameplay, or if it was like what Keenan's saying, an onerous, like, oh, you have to do all this stuff that you wouldn't normally do in the game to be able to even have a chance to get these things, and it's way easier to just buy them. That would be a different story. Honestly, I don't feel like Destiny 2 does that. There are games that do that. And I feel like I'm surprised that Destiny 2 doesn't do that, but it doesn't.
How many hours did you spend? Like honestly, how many hours did you spend on Forsaken King during all this time in order to amass the amount of whatever glimmer that is, that you can go ahead and buy whatever you want at this point?
You want an hour?
Get every emote.
Count, or I've just been playing it the way I normally would play, like.
Which is obsessively. To be honest, it's obsessively, right?
Not really. I mean, compared to other people in the group, I actually don't play that much. I don't know how much Chris used to play Destiny 1, but I feel like I don't play as much as that. I did play obsessively to get that one gun, but that's about it. And you can't buy that. Look, if that's a good point. If that if that gun was purchasable, I would be done with the game. For sure. Because that would have made me mad. The fact that people just spend money and buy it. But it's only purchasable stuff as cosmetic. So, like, there's certainly games that do this really, like gacha games and things like that, where it's totally manipulative. I don't think that Destiny 2 is doing certainly more than Destiny 1, right? And I can see from a person who's played it for a long time, and
it's 193 hours and 17 minutes.
Right? That would be a real difference where you'd be frustrated to be like, why did they put this in my game? But I mean, a lot of games are putting that in their games now, right? And I mean, even Monster Hunter did it. It's not exactly the same as Monster Hunter, but it's it is in there now, right? And it wasn't before. And there's definitely people I'm sure you could find that would be like, I'm done with Monster Hunter. There's putting this kind of stuff in my game that you have to buy. Forget it, right?
No, I'm pretty sure that's not.
And you can't even get it elsewhere. That's the difference, right? Even if I play Monster Hunter, I can't get that stuff.
Okay, and that's great, but you're arguing against something different from what my original point is. Like my original point is that I don't like Destiny anymore because it feels like I'm being nickeled and dimed, and I don't feel that with Monster Hunter because it's not part of the
I
experience.
understand.
And it extends beyond even the Eververse. Like that's just a small part. Like the way that they release these add-on packs, the way that they release the Forsaken, and asking you to go and buy the other ones. Like like all of that is rotten to me. Like I don't appreciate any of that strategy, and apparently a lot of people don't either, and that's why it backfired on them.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is not this is a human psychological thing, and I don't think I think they've learned the hard way, just the way Battlefront 2 learned the hard way last year. Destiny is learning that they need to take a good hard look at what they're asking from their player base.
But I don't think they are though, because there's a billion people still playing it, right? Like
no, they didn't meet their mark or whatever, their internal mark for Forsaken.
Good, fuck them.
Yeah, so they're not.
Go to business for all them cared.
So yeah, but no, I'm enjoying it. I mean, the game's fun, so that's all I care about, really. You know what I mean? Like for me, as long as it's fun, and I don't have that. Like I'd be a different story, I'm sure, if I played a lot of Destiny 1.
Right. Why?
Because what do you mean?
Like why? What does Destiny 1 have to do with it?
Like I say, it would probably be a different story. I'd probably feel differently about it if I had played it before, right? When it didn't have all that stuff. Maybe I would feel differently. Maybe I'd feel the same way as you. It's possible, right?
You mean if you had free shaders readily available at all times and all the other cosmetic stuff, like without that whole Eververse system there, would you think that you would feel differently about it?
I think if I had played the game before they added all this new stuff, yeah, potentially, maybe. I can't say. I'm just
you just said it didn't matter. You just said that it doesn't matter. All that stuff is in the game.
What doesn't make sense to me.
I honestly don't know where we're going with this. Like, I don't know what you guys are trying to argue, really. You're trying to point out inconsistencies of what I'm saying. It's like, I don't really get it. I'm just telling you, I'm playing the game because it is fun to play. Right? And the stuff that's bothering Chris doesn't bother me, and I've explained why it doesn't bother me, and I understand why it bothers Chris. And part of that may be the fact that he's played this game without this system in it. It doesn't particularly feel too onerous for me, but as I said, I did not play Destiny 1 without the system in it, with these engrams and Eververse, so I don't have a point of comparison. That's what I'm saying. Does that make sense?
Okay. Sure.
I think there is probably all kinds of think pieces you can read online. If you're struggling with like what I'm trying to say, maybe I'm not.
I'm not. I get it. I'm pretty sure I get it. Right? Your threshold for
So here, no, let me say this. Is Destiny 2 has it been created to get as much money out of you as possible?
You're asking me?
Yes.
No.
You're fucked.
But I can think of ways they could get more money out of people.
You're fucked.
They could make it more gacha.
The whole reason. No, but it's balancing it out and saying, how far can we push without people going completely like cold on us? And that's the reason they haven't gone more gacha.
I don't know. You're asking me a question I can answer.
Dude, I can tell you with certainty that's what Destiny 2 is.
Why are you so certain that's what it is?
Because there's been like think piece after think piece written about this game, and like it's one of the worst games for trying to milk you.
But are gacha games even worse, and don't they make tons of money?
Yeah, but it's not a video game. It's bullshit. Like Destiny 2 is at least trying to be a video game first.
Right, even more insidious, right?
What?
Even more insidious to make a game that's good and then milk money out of people for it.
Yeah, that's why I don't play it.
Well, I would say, I don't know. I would say even go even further, but to make more money, right?
But then people would stop playing it. That's what I mean. Like Destiny 2, Bungie's trying to find a balance between here's something that here's what we're trying to put out so people will play it because it's a good game, but we're also going to push as far as we can without turning people off, right? That's the vibe that I get from it for sure.
Sure, but I think they failed. They did turn a lot of people off, right? I think they
Right.
would have done better if they hadn't. They would have made more money if they had just got rid of all that stuff, made a game that doesn't have that in it, and focused on making a better game out of the gate instead of wasting their time on Eververse. I totally agree with that. But I think they're making something to make money. I think they failed. Right? I know what you're saying, but I'm saying like they wanted to make more money. I don't know. I think they could do even more things. If they had just made a better game in the first place, they would have made more money, clearly. So I think we can both agree on that.
You're fucked. You're so fucking hard to talk to sometimes.
I don't know why. I feel like we're having a perfectly normal conversation.
This is not a normal conversation.
No. I understand what you said, and you understand what I'm saying, and that's the best you can hope for.
I understand the words coming out of your mouth. Yes.
Okay, good.
They are English. I agree with that. That's a start. Well, it'll be interesting to hear what happens with expansion next.
Yeah. Yeah.
What is that, next week?
It's on Tuesday, I think.
How much does that cost?
I bought it all together, the next three for $40. So 3 for $40, and there's three.
So all around, Destiny 2 has cost you how much so far?
I guess
$200 bucks.
Yeah, but I played a lot of it, so it's more of a
last year,
for fun, for time, right? Proposition for me. So I think
how long did you play Monster Hunter? How many hours?
Less than. I think did you look up how much was that what you telling me how much I played?
Yeah, 193 hours.
So I think about similar. But it's a different kind of fun too, right? Like playing with other people in Destiny 2 is a bit different. And there's the whole like chasing gear is a little more fun in Destiny 2, I think, than Monster Hunter because there's not like unique items and stuff. It's a different game. I don't know. It's a different kind of fun. So, I mean, certainly if they released a bunch of like a big Monster Hunter expansion, that I would jump back into that pretty quick. Yeah, to have a competitive PvP in a game that has gear and stuff. Like I really like that, and that's what Destiny has. So
well, yeah, I mean, one's a shooter and the other one's like Souls-like adventure-ish kind of.
You don't play against other people.
Action adventure. Yeah, it's about timing on the other one. So
just
there's difference.
But yeah, we'll see what it's like. I mean, I think they've announced raid lairs for each mini expansion, and that's already a substantial amount of content for our group, considering how rarely we can get together to actually try and tackle it.
You don't know what the raid is going to be like in the new one, right?
No.
You're hoping it's going to be similar.
This one is really good. The one that came with the expansion is excellent. People have said it's probably the best raid ever.
Sure.
So I don't know to compare them. I don't know, but it seems like the team that they have working on the raid, so a lot better than the old one. So anyway, we're getting a little long in the tooth here, boys.
Yep.
Cut it off there. Or...
Yeah, I think so.
All right.
Well, there it is. Link Cable Podcast, also known as Fightcast.
Gotta
Like
do this
next week.
Yeah. We'll see you later.
Have a week.